Okay. Da, 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 da.
Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I'm gonna put this around my waist. It's in the bathroom. All right. So Twitch is live
Yay.
and YouTube. All right. So is live. Okay. Let's party.
All right, sorry. I'll stop dancing. All right. We good to go?
Yep.
Look what I got. Pryvit.
Bonjour.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew, Season 1, Episode 71. A Yeg Music production. I'm your host, Marissa Kay.
I'm your other host, Millie Rouge, and welcome to the show this morning. We are doing a live album review.
I'm so hyped.
Yeah. I know, right? What
Like, you know how I like to listen to the album as we're playing it?
Yep.
The Lightswitch. I got it going on right now, and I'm so happy. I'm going to be doing this like the entire time we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I won't. I promise. Yeah, so for everybody who is watching, welcome. We are reviewing Lightswitch by CHAII.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to check it out, it is on Spotify. Also, if you want to check out the music videos, they're on YouTube. 100% you should check them out because they're freaking sweet.
They're cool.
Yes.
Big fan. Big fan.
Sorry, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
So how was your morning so far?
My morning's been okay. I tried recreating the hair that I had yesterday. It didn't work out as well. I was too rushed today.
Yeah.
So it didn't turn out as nice as it turned out yesterday.
I don't have the energy to ever do my hair like other than in a ponytail, a bun, or just the way it is.
Well, see, with you, you have this nice, beautiful long hair that you can do a lot of stuff with. Me, my hair is very short. So one, it takes less time to style. But
True.
Two, I also have like these bangs that like are very short or very like long on my face. They used to be super short.
Yeah.
But if I don't style it, I look like I have a mullet.
Oh.
So I try my best to style it.
I see.
And it didn't quite work out. Like this curl is just not a thing anymore, but it's fine.
It just ain't a thing.
It's probably going to go up in a ponytail after this is done.
The struggles of
anyway.
being a girl.
Struggle.
So
Also,
yes.
no, never mind. It's not important.
No, that's okay.
Let's just keep going.
Now I'm curious. What do you have to say?
No, I was just going to say, do you want to hear how dry the ends of my hair are? Because they're really dry. They're like this.
Do you use coconut oil?
No, I use regular conditioner. I just haven't washed my hair in a couple days.
Oh.
So,
Delicious.
Brad Mondo, I'm sorry.
No, he'd probably be like encouraged to be like, yes, don't wash it every day.
No, he'd also be like, why is your hair so dry?
Yeah, that too.
But anyway.
That's true.
Because I live in Edmonton, that's why.
Yeah, live here, don't live in LA, and see how your hair does, okay? Before you judge me.
Anyway.
He's like, I'm attacked. Okay, so welcome everybody to the album review today of CHAII. Her album is called Lightswitch. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. So about the artist in general, first thing I wanted to talk about was just how amazingly badass she is. She is I had my links up here. There it is. She is a Kiwi / Iranian artist. And that's how she describes herself, which I think is really cool that New Zealanders call themselves Kiwis. I think that's amazing.
Isn't that cute?
So she meddles in influences from traditional Persian music with elements of hip hop and electronica into her self-produced project, which is Lightswitch. So at the age of 8, CHAII emigrated to New Zealand from Iran. And before she could speak her first inklings of English, she could rap Eminem lyrics. What?
Well, I can't even do that in a normal day.
She says Eminem was her English teacher, which Best English teacher ever.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what an English teacher to have.
I know, right?
DC Sports Guy from Twitch says, hey, good morning,
Hey.
good morning, good morning. How's it
Good
going?
morning.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we're talking about CHAII, and honestly, like she's insane, in a good way, like in the best way possible. When I say insane, I mean it as a compliment. 'Cause I'm just like, wow, you're cool.
Too cool for
So
school.
yeah, basically, and so she said it wasn't long after that. At age 11, naturally, she began writing her own raps as a way of adapting to her new life. When she moved to, I believe she moved to LA, if I'm getting that right. Yeah, she moved to LA.
Okay.
And yeah, so she's been like killing it ever since. And yeah, so she's incredible.
So she's lived there ever since then in LA. Her whole, like,
Yes.
growing up kind of. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. I think she emigrated when she was, let me just double check that. She emigrated
Very nice.
to New Zealand from Iran. And then she also has family in LA. And there was another article that I read here. Yeah, when she moved. Okay, so she said, I guess really connecting with them being an immigrant and moving to New Zealand, being on that journey of adapting the two worlds to make up my identity and music. She said the city has been pivotal in crafting the sound of her EP, but we'll get into that in a little bit. She said she found she connected with LA. We don't have a big Persian community here in New Zealand, so it was her first time being exposed to Persian population outside of Iran in a Western setting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so living in LA or being around that city was just kind of like super cool. Yeah.
New Zealand-based Persian rapper.
Yeah, sorry, she doesn't live in LA. That was my bad.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's
Sorry.
I was like,
I misread that. That was my bad.
No worries, no worries. I was just like, okay. So this technically is considered a EP because it's 6 songs, but some people like to just call them albums because it's easier for sake-wise. But this EP has a total of 6 songs, 6 whole songs. And yeah, that's kind of all that I didn't like dive too far into the album production, like when it was made in what studio. But let's talk about our first impressions of this album when we first hit play on the very first song.
First impression. That was my first impression. I danced. The second I heard the first song, I started dancing. I was like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was so hyped. I was like, this is great. This whole album is just going to be like a jam.
I love that.
What was your first impression?
Well, I got like huge MIA, if you know who that is. She sings that song that's like, all I want to do is bang, bang, punch.
Yeah.
And then I also got an Iconopop vibe. So they're the ones that sing like, I crashed my car into a bridge and then I let it burn. I don't care. That one.
I love it.
Yeah, like she has her own flair for sure. I'm not saying she sounds like these artists 100%, but I got some like inspiration from them. Like you already said, she's got this very badass energy, but specifically badass feminine energy, which I could hear through her music, and I appreciated hearing this style of music from a female because typically this comes from a male. So I appreciated it, and I wanted to mention, she described these songs. I want to tell you how she kind of described the inspiration behind them. So she was once told that the high and low feelings in life are a reflection of your thoughts and subconscious. They are not real, nor we should be aiming for them. The middle, however, is a state that is true and constant. Deep, very deep. I like it. So she self-produced and directed all the EP videos that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, because that's like, it's she describes it as a visual EP too, which is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, there's just like, I mean, there's so many great things about this album. Album / EP, whatever you want to call it. But the biggest thing I enjoyed was just in general, like the beats were killer.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I appreciated like her, I know she's rapping, but like I appreciated her tone of voice, and I just like the sound of her voice.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just in Flashlight where I'm just like, like feeling it.
Yeah.
Feeling it.
Absolutely. DC Sports Guy said he did check out the Feel Feelings album we were talking about a few days ago.
Ooh.
And he said it was too slow for me and I couldn't get into it. It was along the lines of Beats or Billy Joel type of music, but even slower than that.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it wasn't your cup of tea.
That's all good. It was an interesting find, an interesting pick. So I could see why it's not everyone's cup of tea, as you say.
Yeah. For anyone who wants to see our review of that, it is on our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel if you want to go check that out.
Yeah.
But let's keep going with CHAII's Lightswitch because I have a lot to say about this album.
So what did you like about the album?
Everything.
Other than the whole thing.
No, I just I mean, like I said before, like the beats are really interesting and obviously like she has some Persian influence in this music 100%. Like she's admitted it herself.
Which is cool.
And I can just like I like hearing those cultural influences in something that's a little bit more Western, which is kind of cool. Like I like it when people bring their culture into their music. I'm just a huge fan of it. Like when I listen to like Ukrainian rappers, I'm like, yes. Or like if I listen to like Ukrainian pop stars, I'm like, yeah, you're singing in Ukrainian, but like I like it.
But I like it so much.
Yeah, and yeah, that was one thing I really appreciated about this album was specifically the beats were just like really, really well put together.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of that like booming bass.
Right.
So I was like I'm gonna just keep talking about Lightswitch because that was probably my favorite song. I know we're not getting into favorite songs right now, but all that in there, also like her ability to kind of put together rhymes and put together a rap was incredible.
Yeah.
And just in general, like I think the album was just really, really well put together, and I like the flow of it from one song to the next. Like I was excited for the next song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What about you? What'd you like about this album?
So things I liked. I like the high energy because the whole album was basically just bumping. And in your face abruptness of the album, it was very like, this is who I am and screw you. And I was like, yeah, I like that. Because again, we've talked about this before. Some artists and lyricists are very like wishy-washy and very floaty around the topics, which is cool because in some cases that's what you want to hear. But in this kind of genre, I wanted to hear the like, you know, really, 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 really booming in my face, I don't know, bass and lyrics and everything. So I also liked how there was another use of language and culture in this album. Because it's always unique. It's always something special. And I like how it's subtly placed into the album. It's not the whole, it's not the whole album, which, no problem with that. But yeah, it's just nice to hear here and there who these people are other than just their music, right? Who they are as people and not just artists or musicians or whatever.
And to that point, I think the thing I really, really liked about this was when I was listening to it just blindly.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do with these albums when I'm listening. I'll just like throw it on and not know anything about it and just listen to it on first to get like a really, really good first impression. And then I heard, what's that song? I don't want to say it wrong. Digabase. I think that's what it's called. And I listened to that one. I was like, and I was just like, kind of like just digging it. I was like doing my makeup. I was like chilling. I was like, yeah. This is really cool. And then I was like, wait a second. Is this another language? And I was like, wait. Yep, there is. There's the ch in there. I was like,
yeah,
that's definitely, yeah. I was like, as Ukrainian, I'm like, the hard is in there.
Yep.
And that's when I started listening a little bit closer, and I was like, hey, what language is this? I was trying to figure it out. And I was like, clearly I've never spoke this language before. So I was like, I literally knew nothing about this artist before I listened to this album.
Yeah.
And then diving into it, I was like, oh, okay, she's speaking Farsi, which is like so cool.
Yeah. I was convinced it was French for a couple seconds, and I was like,
I thought it was French too.
No, that's not French. Yeah. It's like close, but not really.
For like a split second, I thought it was French. And then I was like, no, wait, it can't be.
Yeah.
So, and it was funny because like, I honestly, like I said, I didn't know anything about this artist. So like when I listened to her kind of speaking over top of like the slower sections where you could actually hear her accent, I thought she was British. And I was like, wait a second. But I know that Australians and New Zealanders are like, don't call us British. I'm like, I know. so that was like my first thought. And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, okay. Cause like it
Yeah.
was almost there, but it didn't quite make sense. So I thought that was really cool. And it kind of, I don't know, it gives her, I feel like it gives her music a different personality. That's very unique. Cause like, I feel like I haven't heard an artist like her in a very long time, like besides the two people that you mentioned, but even still, like she kind of has her own unique flair on top of that. Like I wouldn't even say those two are super comparable.
Yeah. I also had one last point here.
Yes.
I did enjoy the constant bopping this album had because, like you kind of mentioned before, but like at no point did I feel bored, or at no point was I like, okay, just wait for the next song. Okay. Like sometimes with albums, I kind of do that. I'm not going to lie. But just because there's so many albums we do listen to in a week, and sometimes something just doesn't pique your interest, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not that the artist did a bad job. It's just, you know, depends on the mood, depends on the day. But anyhow, I was constantly not bored, and I was having a great time. So
yeah,
shout out.
well, and the thing that I really enjoyed about this, as I was kind of looking at more about this album, the thing that is kind of really important to her is shining. She said herself, shining a positive light on the Middle East, because obviously, you know, the last decade or so, there's been a lot of tensions there and lots of people misinformed and fear mongering and all this stuff going on. So I like that she's using her music to try to break down that barrier, I guess. And so even she said about her song, Nobody Know, she said, with lyrics both in English and Farsi, CHAII wrote it to shine a positive light on the Middle East. Hatred becomes misinformation. The only way you can beat it is through positivity, through showing and educating. CHAII told RNZ Music at the time.
And I gotta say, being a female doing that,
I know, right?
pretty
like,
badass.
Also just like super brave. Like, she's so cool. The more I read about her, I'm just like, I want to be your friend. Yeah. And then also I wanted to say her style, like, cause I watched the music videos. Obviously I watched the music videos. I'm a huge fan of her style. Like she's
cool.
Like the visual stuff and like the way that she just like dresses. I don't want to say it's reminiscent of Billie Eilish, but I would compare the two a little bit in terms of their style.
Hip hop baggy look. Oh yeah, the one piece sweater, sweatpants look. Very popular.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing about Lightswitch in general, says Lightswitch was inspired by CHAI's journey, learning more about Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution. The revolution forced countless creative talents, including musicians, actors, and artists, to leave Iran and locate to California after their work was banned in their homeland. So the videos for the EP, first three singles, South, Digabase, and Trouble, were shot in the Middle East to capture the spirit of CHAI's early childhood memories.
Cool.
Very cool. I love it.
That. Really sweet. Very cool to see.
Yeah. So I like, she's very inspiring. And after listening to these songs, not only was I bopping along, but I was also like, I like her more and more as I learn more about her.
Yeah.
And more about her music and listening deeper. Sorry, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but the thing that I really, really enjoyed about this album was that there's a lot of re-listening value. Like you listen to it the first time and then you're like, okay, then you read about it. You go back, you listen again. You're like, oh, that's so cool. Then you check out one song, you go back, you're like, oh, there's like a whole backstory behind this song. And like, it's just, it makes me want to re-listen to this album like as many times as I possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. What were some things that you maybe wanted to hear differently, or things that were missing, or things maybe you didn't vibe to per se?
I just wanted more songs.
Yeah,
I thought it was too short.
I actually wanted to hear more feature songs, and I feel like you could have added another element if you had added a feature that was a female-based, maybe Iranian feature. I don't know who. I know that she did do a feature with someone else. I don't know his background, but I just think that would add to the album, and it would have been really dope. And it's not that the album's not great because it doesn't have it. I just think in my head, an idea that would have been something really cool to see
Yeah.
and to hear.
That would have been amazing to see. I would have loved that. That would have been cool.
Like, I mean, maybe she's not at this point of being big, but like imagine like a Iggy Azalea kind of person on this album, or like someone who just, you know, is in that similar genre of like rapping and I'm sure there's lots of artists like this, not just Iggy Azalea, but or someone very. I could see like a British feature on this, like a British female feature on this.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, the other thing I was gonna say too is like on that note, like I can see in a couple years like CHAII is gonna take off. Like based on everything I'm looking at and just based on what I know about her, like she's definitely gonna take off for sure. Like I don't have a doubt in my mind. She's got a lot of great stuff going for her, and I know I just keep hyping her up, but I'm mostly just excited about it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what is your favorite song on the album that you enjoyed the most out of all of them?
Sorry. Dexter's also getting really hyped about this album right now.
Well, I'll start it off. So my favorite song was Middle Ground, because it has a really motivational tone. I think, you know, obviously a lot of these songs are very upbeat, and you know, most of them are very motivating and upbeat kind of too. But I just love the I don't give an F attitude. I think that's the best part about the album, is that it's very real, like we've talked before in the past. It's very true to who this artist is. And yeah, that song to me, just like, I liked all the songs, honestly, but that one kind of stuck out like the most. So, Dexter!
Sorry, he's excited about it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Dexter.
I like how he's like barking. Not doing a full bark. He's just doing little boof, boof.
Yeah, one of those little things. I think my favorite is Digabase, which is the feature.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just, in terms of like the beat, and I think I'm just a fan of triplets. But I don't know. I also like that the use of Farsi in that song was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, I don't know, it was like this deep kind of like feeling. I don't know. And I don't know what the translation is for the lyrics that they were singing in Farsi, but right. I'm sure I could ask one of my friends to translate it for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I think that song was just like really the highlight for me, in terms of the beat, in terms of the lyrics, and just like the collaboration in general. I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's chat about, stop saying Michelle. Let's talk about the vocals. So vocals, I mean, this is a rap album, so there's not a whole lot of like, you know, belting or like things to talk about like that. But as for her vocals, I love the quick rhythmic rap flow. Sometimes there's, you know, the slower or the more drawn out or the Eminem rap style.
Oh yeah.
But I could totally see where if she did listen to Eminem, where she got inspired to rap like that.
Oh yeah.
And I like the use of, now I don't know this word exactly, but the octave range of her tone, and then below her was the male tone. And it's almost like, I know it's very common, but it's like, it sounds like it's like a zombie or a monster, and it's like a really low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's, yeah, that kind of.
I can't think of the effect word on the top of my head, but I really like that in this album, and I think it added an element that was more like, I just like it. I just really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, those are the things that I mentioned about her vocals in general for this album.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, Dexter, I know you're excited about the album, but you need to stop. Okay, sorry. Dexter, I'm trying to talk. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Anyway, one thing I wanted to say was, I've said it before, but I really just enjoyed the tone of her voice, like the tone that she used for the rapping. So I know that speaking is a little bit different than rapping.
Yeah.
And the kind of Dexter. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, he's done now.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I wanted to say like the kind of the tone of voice that she used in her rapping, like that kind of higher pitched,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of nasally brassy tone. I don't know what it is about it, but I just really enjoyed the way that it cut through everything.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically for Light Switch, I mean that was obviously a highlight for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I think that the tone that she used was really tasteful,
Mm-hmm.
and it fit really well in the theme of the album and the
Yeah.
colors of the music.
Yeah, absolutely. I think instrumentation wise, it's pretty generic, standard rap style beats. Like I don't think it was anything too crazy or off the roof. But I enjoyed how the beats were driven, and I did notice there was that soul elements of like it had like a that Latin beat, and I know it's not like totally 100% Latin beat, but it's that. Da, 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 da,
Yeah, there's a
da,
name for it. I forget the name for that type of beat.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I think that was a really cool tie-in with everything else going on in the album. And obviously there's probably some inspiration in her music, just in general from her culture, which I could totally see. But I think it was cool that she kind of used different elements of other cultures, if you will, because not every beat, every beat has kind of some reference to what culture or, something in the past that it's stemmed from. So I thought it was very interesting to see that on the album, for sure. Album artwork. What did you think about the album artwork?
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I honestly, when I was looking at the album artwork, it's not what I expected the album to sound like. Like obviously with the way that her, like I don't know why I didn't connect two and two, but looking at the album artwork again, looking at the way that her name was written, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Based on like what her cultural background is, like, oh yeah, okay, that like the font makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then, seeing like the palm trees in the background, like I honestly thought this was going to be closer to like an electronic album, without actually knowing anything about the artist first. So I was like, I was expecting it to sound electronic because like I was getting kind of like a Daft Punk vibe from from the album cover.
Nice.
But looking at it again, I think it's really well put together. I like the style of it. I like the use of colors.
Yeah.
And I like that in the background, it kind of looks like sunset, with like the trees in the background. Obviously you can tell like there's the California influence in there. And so I like it. I think it looks cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think?
Where to go here? I love the choice of the colors on this artwork. I really like the pastel-y bright summer colors. I love that it's a summer vibe in the photo itself with like the palm trees. And again, those colors are just very like summer colors in my eyes. Easter, summer colors, spring colors. So what colors did you see while you were listening to this album? What was the kind of, what's that term called when you see colors and
I forget the actual name of it. But in terms of the colors that I thought of, I mostly thought of, like when people would try to draw things in 3D, they'd use red and blue. That's what I pictured.
Ah,
Was like that overlapping.
very cool. Oh, it's called synesthesia.
Yes.
Synesthesia.
That. Totally knew that.
I got dark, black, and gray colors in my head. Now, those aren't really necessarily colors, but that's kind of the shades. And I don't know why.
Interesting.
I don't even know why. It's just what I heard. So who would you recommend this album to show?
I would say anyone who's super into rap, I think you'll like this album. If you're into like, I guess more of like, I don't want to say art rap because I don't know if that's the correct term, but just like stuff that's not mainstream.
Yeah.
I guess indie rap. I don't know if that's the proper term. But I'd say like if you're into like the smaller rap artists, 100% go check this person out. And also if you, I was gonna say if you speak Farsi, check this out because it's just really cool. But also if you speak Farsi, please translate the lyrics for me because I want to know what they say.
I want to know.
I got to know.
Where would you listen to this album if you were to listen to it somewhere specific, or how would you listen to it?
I would definitely throw it on at a party for sure. If I was having people in my backyard, like playing some games, having a couple beers, I would totally toss this album on.
Yeah.
Also, if I was like, I mean, it's not happening right now, but if I was getting ready to like go out and like, I would use this as a hype up album, or I would use it at a photo shoot, because I feel like it would just really hype me up, depending on what kind of mood I wanted to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think that anyone who listens to rap or hip hop or any type of dubstep would enjoy this album. At a pre-drinking party, like you said, hype up kind of mood, like you said, working out, or just when I need to feel like a badass babe, I would just throw it on and enjoy it.
Babe.
I hate that word, so that's hard to say. So in conclusion, I think this was a really cool album. If this type of music is something you listen to regularly, then I would recommend listening to it. If you don't listen to it as regularly, you might struggle. But I mean, it's not because it's a bad album, but it's just like if you don't artistically look outside the box every now and again, you might have troubles digesting this. Just because you're not used to it.
If you're one of those people who's like, I don't like rap music, then don't listen to this album. You're not going to like it.
Just don't waste your time.
But if you're one of those people who's like, I listen to all kinds of music, I'm like, yeah, check this album out. You're going to like it.
Yeah. I think this album would do great with, what did I write here? With that you get to millennial generation. Okay, I think what I meant to say is it could do well. This is what I meant to say, I remember. It would do well from Generation Z all the way up to the millennial time frame. I think anywhere kind of past that might be iffy, but I think in between that time frame is the perfect audience for this type of album.
Okay, yeah,
that makes sense. And I think the artist is really badass, and I just enjoy this album.
Yeah. Also, I was going to say, I was on her YouTube channel and she does not have enough subscribers. So go subscribe to her, please, because I need to hear more of what she's going to be putting out. I gotta hear more. Yeah. So go give her some love. Go check her out. Her album's on Spotify. All the music videos are on YouTube as well. And yeah, just let's support her, because I want to hear more from her.
What's your kind of conclusion on the album?
In conclusion, listening to it made me feel badass, and it made me want to dance. And I like albums that make me want to dance. Yeah. And I felt good listening to this album. It's well put together.
I like it. I gave this a grade level A-.
I gave it an A.
Very nice. Well, that is everything from our live album review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to us chat about the album/EP Lightswitch by CHAII. My name is Millie Rouge.
And my name is Marissa Kay. If you like this album review, click like, subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified when these videos come out. They come out Monday through Friday, every morning, 10 a.m. MDT, Mondays, 9 a.m. MDT. And in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Happy Mini Friday, everybody.
Mini Friday. Bye.